Good evening, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Mind My Mind talk show. Today, we have Ms Kamin Bedi, who is a child psychologist, a counseling psychologist, and a life coach. And she has done many interventions with adolescents, with young adults, as well as adults. And she specializes in dealing with relationship issues, stress and anxiety issues, and of course, as a child psychologist, child-related issues. As parents, one of the most difficult things for all of us is to understand our young, growing adolescent children. So today, we will have a discussion on adolescents and how do we manage them better as parents. Welcome, Kaminji. It's a pleasure to have
Hi, how are you?
Very fine.
Same here. Pleasure to be here too.
Awesome. Awesome. So, you're a mother, you are a homemaker, you are a special educator, you're a child psychologist, you're a counseling psychologist, and a life coach. That's a whole lot of things packaged all together and an immense experience to go with. So tell us, what's your experience been, dealing with adolescents as a mother, as well as you work with so many schools, as, somebody who works in a school and understands what issues growing children face?
Hi, thanks, Gurrit. So adolescence, I think a word which parents are scared of, children are excited about, and I think bottom line, everybody's confused. So adolescence, I have viewed from the parents' side, and I've viewed it also from the students' side. Being a student's advocate, like I've always called, I feel that it's a journey which both parents and students and kids are going through with the various changes in the world today. The social media has shrunk the world. Cultures have intermingled. There are so many situations that have come up, and no one is wrong. Parents are not wrong, neither are the children. Me as a mother, of course, have my battles with my children, and I know I do end up maybe arguing out with them or being a dictator at some time in some things. But when I work as a therapist, I realize that everything what the children say is not wrong. So, what is adolescence and what is the adolescence age? We as parents should understand that adolescence is not that is coming now to children who are 18, 17, 16, 15, like that. Adolescence actually begins when a child is turning 13, 12, just when you're into your teens, 12. The minute they start realizing and recognizing themselves, that's where adolescence is coming in, actually. That's I would say, the base where it's setting in from. Now, children have very confused ideas. The children are confused. They have social media to excite them. They have friends. They have the peer pressure. They have parents, their ideas. And there is this one child who does not know what is right and what is wrong, because there is nothing right and nothing wrong. So, the basic problems which our children are facing in adolescence are they do not feel validated. They do not feel connected. They do not, leading to, they say, oh, we are mentally weak. We are emotionally weak. We have stress. We have anxiety. A lot of them are getting into drinking, smoking, sneaking at night. And all these issues are very basic. It's not that they didn't exist in olden times. I think I've heard so many stories of people saying, and I remember my own generation, oh, there's a smoke available, let's try. Oh, there's someone who's going to vape up, let's smoke up, let's try. We've all gone through those stages. But yes, the age has changed, the times have changed. We might have done it in college, now the kids are doing it now. I agree, it's not the right time. But a few problems that children face are these, what I mean, but a few tips I want to give parents. And with my experience and with my understanding and being a parent, I have realized that a lot is to do with parents. A lot is to do with your home you're coming from. Wherever you might be, whoever you might be, it's your home. It's your home. You are the parents. your children. So that your children need to understand that these are your home values. Whatever the home values might be, they might differ from one child to the other. So first, parents, don't be confused yourself. What is it that you want from your child? Whereas in your upbringing, don't confuse the child. One side you're liberal, one side you're conservative, one side you want to agree to the child, the other side you don't want to agree to the child. Don't do that. You're confusing your child. That's the reason when the child then depends for emotions to friends introduce them to smoking, they're vaping, all these things. So parents, please be sure of what you want from your child. Number one. Number two, one of the things that I really believe in is conversations. Please have conversations with your children. I'm stressing on the point conversations, talk, not debate, not dictate. Listen to them. Hear them out. Follow what you want to do. Give your verdict later, but first listen to them. Why are they saying all these things? What is on their mind? Try to understand that. Number three, guide them through the rights and wrongs. There's no harm. Don't get carried away कि oh uske friends कर रहे तो करने दो. नहीं. You feel it's wrong, it is wrong. You feel it's incorrect, it's incorrect. When you said a no to your child, it remains a no. It does not become a yes. When you're giving a child a path, it stays a no. It does not become a yes. Please remember that. And the fourth thing that I would like to add out here is, don't always argue with them. They are not always wrong. They might be rude. They have their emotions. They might be impulsive. They have their reasons. Hear them out. Like I said, conversations and here being when they are being impulsive or emotional, just hear them out. If they are in a bad mood or they are impulsive or they are reactive, doesn't mean you also have to become like that. No. These are phases your child is going through because of adolescence. And they'll pass by very quickly. You won't even get to know how mature and sensible your child has become if you support your child. And the basic issues I know parents nowadays are facing with adolescents, Gurrit, are, oh, my child doesn't listen to me. My child wants all the frills, doesn't want to work hard. My child is vaping. I mean, I'm going through this vaping season so bad, I can't tell you. Parents, sorry, yes, Gurrit?
Substance abuse is hitting children in school.
It's hitting children big time. Big time. And this is because they are mentally weak. They don't know whom to talk to. They're talking to friends who are also mentally weak. So we need to make them mentally strong. COVID has not only affected our health, COVID has affected a lot of things. A lot of things. So these children have gone through a lot of an emotional turmoil during COVID too. Fear. Fear of losing. So many have gone through that insecurity. Whatever feelings we are going through as an adult, they are going through it too. So the other day I was chatting with some girls who I suddenly noticed that started vaping. I asked them, I said, why? Oh, it's okay, ma'am, doesn't matter. Everybody's doing it. No, everybody's not doing it. You feel everybody's doing it. And if everybody's doing it, it's not the right thing. So vaping, as in our country, is illegal. Children need to understand that if they are caught vaping in school or in possession of a vape, they can be, leave aside investigation, they have to be handed over to the cops. It's an illegal activity. We are not understanding that. But where is it stemming from? Where does the child get the money from? How do you not know that the child had 1,500 rupees to go and buy a vape? What is happening? So that's why I first tapped the parents. It's with the parents. My child had the other day borrowed. Yes, correct?
Tell me, go ahead.
So my child the other day had borrowed 2,000, not borrowed, had taken 2,000 rupees from me to buy his uniform. I knew the uniform costed 1,500 some bucks. And I forgot to ask him by the evening that what happened to the balance. The next day I asked him, where's the balance? He said, oh, I don't know. I think I gave it to you. No, I didn't give it to you. And la. I said, I don't know. Let me know. I want to know where the balance is. He said, Mom, I think I had 400-500 bucks. I don't remember where I've kept them. I said, please look for them. Check your pockets. Check this, check that. Another day goes by. I again asked him. And a relative was sitting next to us and saying, "What is it? Yeah, why are you asking? Kharch diye honge bachche ne." I said, "No, my child has to give me an answer to where that money has gone." Then he sat down with me for 5 minutes. He gave it a thought. He said, okay, yes, I took that money balance in school. I spent it in the canteen with my friends. A friend has been paying all this while. I have given it to him. I said, fair enough. That's okay. But I should know. So it was my duty to know where the money has gone, whether it's 50 rupees or 500 rupees or 5,000 rupees. So
I
this
hear
is
a
where the
couple
thing.
of things. Absolutely. Very beautifully said that the responsibility begins with us, lies with us. And obviously, how we groom them, how we talk to them, how we treat them is what I hear makes a lot of difference. Because if a child feels secure and comfortable at home, whatever problems he or she is facing in the environment, they will come back.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think,
And trust me, it does. Adolescents problems and these issues don't start when they are 12, 13. हमारा बच्चा तो बहुत अच्छा था 11th जब तक 10 साल का था 11 साल का था नहीं. This problem must have started at sometime when he was 4, 5 years old. It's manifesting itself now in adolescence. So see where have you gone wrong. So younger parents, this is for you. Please be mindful with your child's bringing up. Don't be mera bacha sabse acha types. Go around, look around, let your child learn life skills. Let your child drink its own water. Let it drop it and clean it. Let it make it bed. Go brush your teeth. These are very minor things of life which we don't look into, but they are very major in the child's development. And these skills and these issues help them go a long way. And when they gradually build this security, it's that mountain which has been built over a very good, strong foundation. It'll never rock. Why will it rock?
so what are the foundational pieces of this foundation that you talk about?
So when I talk about foundation, I go back to when the child was 3 years old, 2 years old. The milestones need to be appropriate. The child's growth pattern needs to be appropriate. Hi, abhi bachcha hai, abhi rehne do. No, that doesn't work. Oh, my child is very sensitive. No, then make your child strong. Sensitivity is not going to work when he goes to your job. That guy is going to chuck him out. Sensitivity is not going to work when your child has got 0 out of 10. He'll pick up a smoke or a drink. Right? So when the foundation begins when you are 3 years, 4 years, the child needs to know what is right, what is wrong. The child needs to be pampered, but not over pampered. We are all getting into nuclear single child families. We feel our child is the most precious child. Our child is the best child. No. Move one step forward. Every child is precious. Be kind to the other child. Don't be looking at the other child and saying, "Nee, nee, wo to aisa hai, but mera theek hai." No. Parents are becoming very selfish when it comes to their children. It's mera bacha aur kisi ka nahi types. No, that is not fair. So that's when it stills. And when the child is 3, 4, 5 years old, life skills according to age. Your child wakes up, picks up his shoes, puts them in the shoe rack, brushes his or her own teeth on time, fills up his bucket of water, puts his clothes aside, even if he doesn't know how to fold, tries to button his own clothes, tries to do little things, picks up the glass and puts it in the kitchen. Does the basic things to do.
So
the child needs to, yes.
If one has missed these foundational steps in the childhood, what do we do as parents to fix that today?
It's never too late. It's never too late. Start it from whatever age you've realized you need to do it, before it reaches 16, 17 years. Because that's by when you will not have control on your child. So, I can give you another case history of a child whose parents came to me crying, begging, actually begging. Their child is 15 years old, and the parents are both very high officials in the law faculty of wherever. And they were like, "Oh, he doesn't listen to us. He takes the car away and drives off at night. He's one day came home drunk." He's a 15-year-old child. How dare he threaten you to go out like this? I asked him, I said, "आपने बचपन में उसको बहुत पैम्पर किया?" "हाँ, हमारा बेटा था ना बेटी के बाद, प्लस हमारी सारी फैमिली कहती थी बहुत इंटेलिजेंट है, बहुत अच्छा है." मैंने कहा फिर देख लो, बहुत इंटेलिजेंट, अब you've dug your own grave. Today, the child, you're scared of your child. No child is going to run away from the house when he knows he's not going to get bread and butter, a shelter. They're scared. Parents are scared. Why are you scared? Because तुमने बचपन में उसको इतना importance दे दिया कि तुमसे अच्छा कोई नहीं है. Everything depends on you, that the child has stopped respecting you.
So
So
the
child
in over pampering and helping a child to build confidence and self-esteem.
Yes, are two different things. To build your self-confidence, to build your child's confidence. And sorry?
We confuse that as parents.
Exactly. We all love our child. Who doesn't love their own child? Yeah, you produced your child.
Right.
But we need to get harsh sometimes. We need to become firm sometimes. I know it is with a big stone on your heart, but yes, it is required. It's really required. And we need to follow that.
So what do we do, at 16, 17 years of age when we realize that our parenting skills have gone wrong at that time? What are the steps that we can take now in terms of building, self-esteem, building confidence, help the child out because the child is already in problems, and kind of getting them.
Something that works. Yeah, something that works
Because
very
a lot
best.
of kids today, I just saw a post today morning that most of the school children are so exposed to substances, and which is what you're saying, vaping is one of them. That it is actually, we can see them going into a ditch. How do we kind of, rein them back in?
Yeah, so the three things that really work very well is a routine. A child needs a routine. And it does not mean routine doesn't take care of the 4 hours tuition that your child is going through. No. A child needs a balanced routine, the right amount of sports, the right amount of outdoors, the right amount of studies, and the right amount of me time, the child's time.
And we have to
right
through this.
Yes, we have to gradually improve it. Outdoors really helps because when you're sweating out, when your heart rate goes up, when your mind is, those hormones that are released really calm you down. They really make your energies get diverted in the right direction. So that's what, it's that complete peace that you get with a good outdoor.
So
the children
or scolding will not work. It's better.
Dance and scolding will not work at all.
And then, try to rope them in.
Yes. So first and foremost, we get the routine sorted out.
Right.
Then we again have meal times. And a lot of kids I come across now don't even know how to lay a table.
Right.
There are no meal times. Parents are not home or they are home. They don't know how to. They don't want to sit on the table and eat. They're watching TV and eating, or even the parents are sitting. No, have a meal time. Have conversations on the meal time. Number 3, which is something which is very, very important after you've done these 2 things, is making sure hitting or pinch the child where it hurts. If the child is addicted to a TV, remove it. If the child is addicted to gaming, reduce it. If the child is addicted to other things, when you take away something which is very dear to the child will follow your rules and regulations. And the child needs to be put across and be told that till the time the child is under the parents' guidance and with the parents, he has no choice but to listen. They are your parents. They are paying for you. They are feeding you. They've given birth to you.
So what do you do in extreme cases where, children still do not listen? A lot of parents reach out to us saying that we've tried these things, and I'm sure you've spent so many years dealing with over 13 plus years, you've been dealing with these issues. In that scenario, what do we as parents do?
Then the child needs to be brought to a counselor, to a psychologist. The child then needs
an underlying problem which could have been missed out.
Yes, and then the child's therapy needs to start on a regular basis.
Right. And
to understand where the child is coming from, why the child is being so obstinate.
Right. And maybe as parents, one would be missing those conversations when you suddenly and
it's very natural. It's very natural.
On how to deal with that. So
Yes, and it's very natural. A
seek the
parent might
professional
just tend to this. Yes,
have to seek professional help to help understand
100%.
the problem. It necessarily doesn't mean that a child has an underlying problem, but it,
Yeah,
it helps you and aids you in kind of
yeah.
maybe
It gives the parent a it gives
counseling.
the parent a clarity, because whatever you might say, the parent is a parent. He will camouflage the child somewhere or the other. So
Right.
it's always good to go and take professional help. Always good. And it's there's no harm. It's just going and meeting a psychologist or a counselor, and we're just having conversations. We are not doing anything, and there's nothing wrong in that. We're
Right.
just giving you another perspective, another view. So
Right.
it's
And
always
then
good to talk.
with a professional, with it irons out the small fusions, as well as builds a better perspective on how to deal with a child better, both for the child as well as for the parent. So
True, absolutely.
how a lot of people come and they say नहीं ये तो ऐसे ही शैतान है, ठीक है, so आप बात कर लीजिए. A lot of people come and I'm like, I'm not a specialist. So how do we convince parents that because there is so much of stigma around counselors, that most of the time they end up saying, okay, get a career counseling done. That's how it kind of goes around. How do we convince parents that it's not really a stigma? It is not really that nobody's going to brand your child as mentally ill. It is a problem.
Yeah.
Like still, the child probably just needs some guidance.
Yes. So times have changed. Parents have become more aware, but yes, we face a lot of these children, parents like this. Well, what has worked the best is direct conversation with the parents. That हाँ आपका बच्चा बहुत प्यारा है, बहुत स्वीट है, बहुत नॉटी है और ऐसा ही है, बट थोड़ी सी इसको हेल्प की जरूरत है, और ये हेल्प हम बड़ी माइन्यूटली और सिंपली से दे रहे हैं, तो आप क्यों ना दे दो उसको. सो वंस यू एक्सप्लेन टू द parent that it's not a बीमारी, कि दिमागी बीमारी नहीं है, then the parents will also understand. It makes a lot of
important message to everyone. We all go, none of us are perfect, looking at the problems and the peer pressures and even the general pressures, the academic pressures, the career pressures that a child faces today are really, really immense. And, the environment needs to be supportive. They need to be heard out. And
absolutely,
yes, as parents, we have faltered somewhere. I think all of us need to be open-minded and reach out for support to a professional.
100%. We really need to.
Hope this talk was helpful to everyone. Thank you, Kaminji. I think
my pleasure.
Information that you've shared with us is really, really valuable, at least to me.
No, that's my pleasure. Not at all.
So, thank you so much. Pleasure having you here.
Pleasure. Same here. And thank you so much, Gurrit. Thank you.
Thank you. Dear viewers, if
bye-bye.
you like our session, please do click like and also please share ahead for others who might find it useful and helpful. Thank you very much.
Bye.